So I am starting the very first session, and I will like to again reiterate that all the session are under recording process, and we will share the link through an YouTube channel. And if you miss any session, maybe due to connectivity problem or anything, then you can go through that YouTube link to see the content of the session. I myself, Dr. Vikramaditya Dave, I will be delivering this lecture. Sorry. The topic of my lecture is artificial intelligence, a presentation to intelligent system. Now, you are all human beings and you are all intelligent. You have a great knowledge with you. And today in this lockdown period, I am going to present a topic on artificial intelligence. Basically, I am going to show you what artificial intelligence is to an intelligent people. So basically, you all are intelligent. So I am teaching artificial intelligence systems. So it is very difficult, but I am trying my best to give you some fundamentals of artificial intelligence. Let me introduce myself. I am Dr. Vikramaditya Dave. I did my PhD from IIT Roorkee. I have worked a lot in the artificial intelligence right from my BTech. In BTech, I have simulated a program on fault detection in power system. Then in MTech, I have did a ECG waveform, and then we carried out a lot of research work in this artificial intelligence. Particularly, my area is artificial neural network. Okay. Today, I will give you the basic concepts of the artificial intelligence. Now, in this FDP, there may be some audience who know much more in artificial intelligence, but there are some beginners. So this PPT has been designed in such a way that a beginner will also able to understand what artificial intelligence is. So the first question is, what machine can do? Now, you will probably knowing that after the Industrial Revolution, there were two gifts to the human society in the form of machine, and they were the generator and the motor. And they did a lot, and still they are doing a lot for us, helping the human society by many ways. But now, after a long service, the scientists started thinking, can the machine be made intelligent? Okay. So philosophers have been trying for last many decades, for many centuries, to understand and resolve two big questions of not only the earth, but of the whole universe. That how does a human mind work? This is the first question. And the second question is, can non-humans have minds? And you will surprised to know that though we are living in the era of artificial intelligence,
మన పోయింది ఆట ఏడు గందులు అది రౌండ్ ఇది
but still these questions are unanswered. Though you will say that yes, we are developing artificial intelligence machines, and how these questions are stuff, but as you will grow the maturity, because this is a very philosophical question, the answer is also very philosophical, so we will not discuss here and will not make any debate on it. But the fact is that these two questions are, how does a human mind work, and can non-humans, that is the machine, can have minds? Now, however, some philosophers, to whom we called as a computer scientist, had focused on the second question, and they have accepted the idea that yes, machine can do everything that humans can do. Naturally, whenever a new idea comes, there is always opposition from other side. Every coin has a head and a tail. Every brighter side has a darker side also. So there is always opposition to a new idea. These opposite people, these people who are from opposition, they claim that the very highly sophisticated behavior of the human being, which include emotions like love, creativity, moral character, these cannot be inducted in a machine. In fact, they are beyond the scope of any machine, then how can you make a machine at par with the human? Or how can you make machine to be intelligent? But you know, for the success of any event or for the success of any process, there should always be opposition. And the opposition motivate us, inspire us to go further for that work. And that was being done by some engineers and scientists. And today, what we have a machine called intelligent. Now, before proceeding to the word artificial intelligence, let us segregate these two words. There are two words, artificial and another is intelligence. So I will be starting from right hand side with the word intelligence. So where I can find the meaning of intelligence from human point of view? Definitely I have to go for some dictionary. So I have taken two definitions from the Collins Dictionary, which is a standard dictionary at the international level. And as per Collins, two definitions are given. First definition is someone intelligence is their ability to understand and learn things. And the second definition is that the intelligence is the ability to think and understand instead of doing things by instinct or automatically. Now let us focus on these two definitions. The very first definitions use the word someone's, which clearly signifies that this property or this ability is attributed to human beings who has a property of understanding and learning things. So the first definition is completely related to the human beings, but it is the second definition which has motivated the computer scientist. And what is that? It is the ability to think and understand instead of doing things by instinct or automatically. If things are going automatically, then we call this a God gifted, and God gifted is not being answered in our scientific world. Okay, so we talk of only that intelligence is the ability to think and understand. Now here in this definition, if you will focus, nothing has been mentioned who is someone or who is, if it is someone, then it is human, which is being already being accepted by the first definition. Then this property can be by something. Now this something will be your machine. So computer scientists in the early 90s started thinking that why cannot we induce this ability to think and understand in the machine, and then machine can become intelligent. So the first one in the second definition was the think, to think. So what do you mean by thinking? We should discover the exact meaning of the thinking, then only we can proceed further. So let us focus on the word thinking. Again, I will go to the Collins Dictionary, and here there is a very good definition of thinking. That thinking is the activity of using brain to consider a problem or to create an idea. Now look towards this definition. What is this saying? That it is the activity of a brain. So the someone or something in the second definition should have a brain or should have an organ which is similar to the brain, that it has the property to learn and understand the things so that it can solve the problem, it can make out decision, or it can give a creative idea. So with this much of the background, this definitions has motivated many scientists that why cannot we develop the thinking power in the machine? And on this basis of the analysis, we can now define intelligence as the ability to learn and understand, to solve problems, and to make out good decisions. So I think so, up to the slides, the intelligence definition is very clear. Many other scientists has also given the definition, and the very short and the sweetest definition is ability to acquire knowledge and apply that knowledge and skill is the intelligence. Okay, so first of all, if you want to call yourself to be intelligent, you have to acquire the knowledge and skills. Then you have to apply it to the society people. Then only you will be called as an intelligent. And person who do this, who acquire correct knowledge, correct skills, and then apply it, then he is named by many synonymous words prevailing in our society, like intellect. Oh, he's a great intellect. The member of the planning commission gives many economics policies for the development of the country. He's an intellect. He's a mind. He won this chess plane. He's a brain. His brains. He possesses brain power. So many synonyms are there to call a person to be intelligent. And what the intelligent do is, as I've already mentioned, the definition that it acquire and apply knowledge and skill. This is very basic definition of intelligence. Now, of what elements the intelligence is composed of? Is there a single element, more than one element? Then the answer is there are more than one element. And what are they? It is not that by single element you call a person to be intelligent. There are many elements. Reasoning. If a person is reasoning with some logic, every time we call him intelligent person. Judgment. If his judgment is making many people, then people call him intelligent person. Understanding. He understands the people's voice. He understands the people messages and immediately make out some decision. He comprehends the things. He has a sense. Insight means he has in depth of any problem and thus can come out with some solution. He could be called as an intelligent. Perception, penetration means going into the deep. Sharpness, quickness of the mind, smartness that thinks more efficiently and in a less time and energy. Intuition, that the sixth sense also in giving a vision to a particular problem. Alertness, cleverness, brilliance, lastly but not least, aptness and creativity. So creativity also comes under the intelligence. So from this slide, it's very clear that the intelligence is not composed of single element, but it is composed of many elements. And if we see any one of the elements in any human being, we call that person to be intelligent. So what involved in intelligence? Next question is there. How we say that yes, this is intelligent? If person is intelligent, then he has an ability to interact with the world. Now how he interact with the world? Either through his speech, either through his vision, or through his motion, or through his manipulations. Our Honorable Prime Minister, through his speech and vision, is interacting with the world. So he being considered as an intelligent person. Secondly, he has the ability to model the world and to reason about it. If any problem is there, he has the ability to give reason for it, and then he can find out a good solution for this and can lead the people. He has also ability to learn. An intelligent person does not mean that once he have acquired the knowledge, now it is over. He keeps on learning and he keeps on adapting himself to the changing environment. So if all these three things are there, if all these three abilities are there, we call a person to be an intelligent. So I think so the definition of the intelligent is clear to you, that it is the ability of acquiring knowledge and skill and then sharing with others or applying on the others. Then this is being termed as an intelligence. Now the next word is the artificial. Definitely when I will, what is artificial? Then naturally the first word comes natural. Okay, but this is wrong. Unnatural signifies, which is not natural. Okay, so unnatural signifies that which is against the law of nature. Means we are doing something which will cause harm to the nature, which nature does not want, but we are creating it, or we are developing it, or we are making it. But here we are not destroying nature, we are not going against the laws, but we are aiding our nature. Hence, unnatural word will be inappropriate, and rather it is the artificial means man-made. Artificial means man-made, which is created by the man. Like we have artificial plants in our home. Nowadays, artificial organs are also being used. You can see this is artificial eye. Artificial hands are also being built. And you're surprised to know that one of a city, that is the capital city of our Rajasthan state, Jaipur, is developing an artificial hands and legs for the people who lose their hands and legs in some casualty or some accident. One event I want to share with this word artificial intelligence. I want to share one event with you that I was a member of a Government of India committee set up for developing glossary for the artificial intelligence in Hindi language. It is Commission of Scientific and Technical Terminology, where there was a meeting where we were developing some Hindi words for this new emerging topic, artificial intelligence. When this first word came, then some people says that the Hindi meaning of should be aprakratik. The meaning of artificial should be aprakratik. But I oppose it. I oppose it in the sense that this artificial is not against the nature. It is helping the human society, and humans are being a part of the nature. So it cannot be aprakratik, but it can be pratim. So the commission has accepted my argument, and now this artificial intelligence in Hindi is termed as Kratim Buddhimata. Some South people who are not understanding this, but I'm sharing this event that the artificial intelligence in Hindi language is being termed as Kratim Buddhimata. Now, you know that natural intelligence is present in human beings, which make them different from other living beings. This is a well-known fact, a universal fact. Now, many beginners will be thinking that when I say machine are intelligent, Madam Dharanika, mute yourself. So, think that, Madam Dharanika, please mute yourself. People think that the computers are intelligent machines, but for the beginners and newcomers, I would like to say that computers are not intelligent machines. Computers are slave. Computers are dumb. They follow the instruction provided by the human whom we call as a programmer. So if he has done a good programming, computer will give a very good, accurate 100% result. Now, if it is a bad programmer, computer will give an erroneous result. Okay. So computer is not intelligent. In fact, it is being given instruction by the human beings, and it obeys the instruction. Okay, so the computer which you are using is not an intelligent machine because it does not take any decision of your own. Mind it, to be intelligent, you should make out decision at your own level. So if wrong programming is being done by the programmer, computer will, at present, the way we are using computer will not understand it is a wrong decision, so how to correct it. Only programmer can correct it. He can understand what mistake he has done. So I like to mention once again that computers are non-intelligent machine. So two words are cleared: the word artificial, the word intelligence, and the word artificial. And with this form our new emerging branch, the artificial intelligence. And how we define artificial intelligence, the definition is again very simple. It is a branch of computer science which aims to create intelligence in machine. Listen, here a word is being used. It is an international definition, the branch of computer science. So many people will be thinking, so it is related to computer science only. No, it's not only related to computer science, but it is related to all branches. Even no, I'm not talking about the technical only. Even it is related to the non-technical also. It is related to commerce also. It is related to finance also. It is related to the arts also, where through AI you can create creativity in arts also, in music also. So, but since programming is being involved, algorithm is being involved, okay, so it has been assigned as a branch of computer science. But you did not have to worry, and that is why the participants are not only from computer science, but from all type of streams we have chosen. And anybody can apply in his field. So it is a branch of computer science which aims to create intelligence in machine. Some people more have given definition, some scientists, that the branch only the words are being changed while the meaning remains the same. Luger and Stubbsfield in 1993 gave definition as a branch of computer science that is concerned with automation of intelligent behavior. So the intelligent behavior is being automized, that is also being considered as an artificial intelligence. Kurzweil in 19 the art of creating machines that perform functions that require intelligence when performed by people. Okay, so this is also a definition in some other words which says that whatever the intelligence is possessed by the human, if the same is being shown by any machine, then we call as an AI machine. I think so. The AI concept is very clear that what is artificial intelligence is. In short, I can say in artificial intelligence, we are making machine at par with human intelligence. That is, we are inculcating intelligence in it so that it acquires knowledge and therefore can take the decision of your own. Now, let's see how many types of artificial intelligence are popular. There are two intelligence categories are there. One is termed as a narrow AI, and another is termed as a wide AI. So don't go through the words. The words does not mean that they are something very low level. Narrow does not here means a low level AI. The narrow AI is an artificial intelligence system that is designed and trained for one particular task. For example, you might have heard the Amazon Alexa. So Amazon Alexa is an AI device which come under the category of narrow AI in the sense that it can do a particular task only, and that what pass that you will say Alexa play movie, it will play movie. You say Alexa play read newspaper, Alexa will read newspaper. Okay, you will ask Alexa what is time, Alexa will show you time. But if you ask Alexa bring a glass of water, Alexa will not able to bring. If you say Alexa bring fruits for me, Alexa will not able to do it. If you say Alexa clean my floor, Alexa will not able to do it. So they have been asked to do a particular task through voice command, and it can only play movies, play songs, read newspaper, or can show you what time it is, or can alert you regarding your calendar of day to day. So when it is related to a specific task, we call this as a narrow AI. Some scientists also use weak AI. Now, weak word here does not signify that this AI device is inefficient. Okay, it is extremely good at routine jobs. It do a particular types of jobs, and it can do both type of physical and cognitive jobs. Suppose you have a robot, and this robot is doing particular bringing water for your guest or for your family members, then it is also come under narrow AI. But there is a one great threatening with AI, that it is going to replace many human jobs throughout. Now at present, who can afford are keeping servants for the different types of work in their home. But if the same work is being carried out by these narrow AI devices, then you can imagine what will happen to the person who are working at present in the different fields. Okay, we are not going detail with it. So next is the wide AI. As the name suggests, this AI is associated with so many cognitive abilities. That is a multitasker. Okay, here system is capable of having behavior across a variety of tasks according to the situation. For example, it can it's a wide AI can drive a car, it can tell a joke, it can done a mimicry, and so many things. Okay. So the techniques of all aim at replicating and surpassing the capacities of human intelligence, such as risk analysis and processes or the cognitive processes. You know that before proceeding to the details of the AI, the different techniques of the AI, we should always remember, we should always go through its history. In fact, in our Indian system of culture also, we have a process of remembering our ancestors. Probably in the month of September, we used to carry out Shraddh. Similarly, here we will remember that who has contributed in developing this new emerging subject of 21st century, that is artificial intelligence. So there are three generations are there. The first generation is being called termed as in dark ages, where the birth of artificial intelligence has taken place, and it comes under 1943 to 1956. And the credit, in fact, goes to Kulok and Pitts. Kulok was a philosopher, and he was a degree in medicine. So see, he was not a technical scientist, but he was a doctor and also a philosopher who was having a degree in philosophy also. And his co-author Pitts was a mathematician. So being doctor, he proposed a model of artificial neurons. So since he was a surgical doctor, so he just proposed how neurons works, because later on you will see that there is a technique called artificial neural net. It is based on the principle of the working of the brain only, and the brain consists of the neurons only. So as a doctor of surgery, he proposed a model of artificial neurons, but he never talks about that about artificial intelligence or what. He says that a similar artificial neurons can be simulated, and he gave two states to the neurons: on, off. Okay, so he says that neurons can either be off or can be on. There can be two states. So this model hasn't worked in the coming years, but credit goes to him that he has taken an initiative in developing in mimicking the working of the brain and presenting an idea how neurons works. And on the basis of this, only in 1956, Manesky and Edmonds built the first neural network computer, which they named as SNARK. Okay, so they haven't given any word related to AI. So who has given, first of all, coined the word AI? It was Alan Turing in 1950. He wrote a very beautiful paper, Computing Machinery and Intelligence. He was basically a British mathematician. Okay, in this paper, he first of all introduced the word artificial intelligence. And therefore, some people, although there is a great debate is there, though he has not word used artificial intelligence, he posed certain questions related to the intelligence in the machine. Okay. He asked in his paper, sorry, he asked in his paper some questions. Is there thought without experience? Is there mind without communication? Is there language without living? Is there intelligence without life? Now, before discussing this question, let us remove out from all this question. So your question became, is there thought with experience? Is there mind with communication? Is there language with living? Is there intelligence with life? Yes, it is already there, and it is present in our human beings. It is present in our human beings. We have a thought with experience through which we can communicate to the world. We have a language through which we are living. We human beings have an intelligence through which we are living our life and making our life better. But here he is asking all these things without life without experience, mind without communication, language without living, intelligence without life. And the summary of all this question was that he is asking about artificial intelligence, that is, can machine think? And in this paper only, he submitted an Turing test. And in this Turing test, on my word, what is this Turing test was there? what he did, and this Turing test was accepted universally. Okay, and still it has not been proved false. What he did, that he says that you make arrangement of two rooms. In one room, let a man or a woman should sit with the computer, and in the other, an interrogator should sit with the computer. Now, they will not talk to each other and they will not able to see it. They will only communicate with the help of computer. And first of all, a woman was called and she was asked that you reply to the interrogator in such a way that the interrogator thinks that you are not a woman but you are a man. The woman did it, and interrogator got all the replies. Now there was no voice command was there. Everything was through computer. Messages was being sent through the computer. He was interrogator was asking, you are a woman? So no, I'm not woman. What is your name? He said, my name is He-Man. Okay, and like this, all questions he has asked, and she replied as if he is a he. He is a human. He is a man. Later on, that woman was being replaced by a machine. And the machine was fed with the same answers which the woman has replied. The interrogator and the machine also communicated through the interrogator computer only. And if he says that machine can deceive the interrogator in making him that it is not a machine but it is a human being, either man or woman, then we can say that machine can have intelligence. A machine can have intelligence. So this test is being considered as a Turing test. So basically his thought was that if you can defool the human being, the machine can defool the human being, then machine can be intelligent. Though this idea was criticized by many people, but it is still prevailing because default solution is not the landmark for intelligence. But he was the first who first of all proposed this test, which is also called as the Turing test. Now, the word artificial intelligence was proposed first of all by John McCarthy, and people called him as the father of AI. There is a debate is there, but still many of them believe that John McCarthy is artificial intelligence because it was he who first of all forward this word artificial intelligence in a Dartmouth conference in which he workshop for the researcher who are interested in the neural networks and the study of the intelligence. And there was an agreement was being made between Madam Dharnika, please. So it was being made between all the scientists, and they have proposed a name artificial intelligence where they have put intelligence. So it was John McCarthy who has introduced this word artificial intelligence. From 1952 to 1966, there was some enthusiasm where Bartel Swammer's checker player was introduced, though it was very basic game was there. Shaka has introduced the robot, and a lot of work was started on the neural networks. So all these enthusiastic work has given a motivation in the field of intelligence. We will talk a lot of on the neural network, what progress we made in the neural network. And regarding the robot, we will be conducting one more FDP in the last week of the May, where we will talk about the robotics also. Now, in 1960 to 1974, this was not a good era for the artificial intelligence because people were having a lot of hope with the computer, because at that time computer was introduced, but computer was very large, it was very slow, very expensive, and had a very little memory. So people started losing hope that there can be any intelligent machine or not. So 1960 to 1974 is not being considered as a good era. In fact, I will say this is the dark age of the artificial intelligence. From 1974 to 79, there comes one important technique of artificial intelligence, and that is the birth of an expert system. Okay, so here AI's research got momentum with the help of the expert system. So let me discuss this expert system is what. Now, I will give you an example. Suppose you are suffering from some disease, okay, then definitely you go to doctor. Will you go to any doctor? No. You will search, you will ask your relatives or people, who is the best doctor for this particular type of disease? Okay, and the people will suggest, oh, this doctor is the best. Now, how people are suggesting it? People are suggesting because he has cured for many people very fast and very efficiently for many, many years. And in this way, the doctor has got a very good knowledge and testified knowledge. And because of that testified knowledge, you are calling that doctor to be expert system. Similarly, if you take the example, many of them people you are from teaching faculty. So as the time passes, you gain more and more experience, and your credibility, your goodwill increases regarding the teaching and learning process. So you became expert in teaching, you became expert in learning. Okay, so the same idea is being incorporated in the computer. That why not we fed all this knowledge to the computer, and then computer will decide, okay, that which knowledge is being useful for the question being asked at that time. So it was being used, this expert system being used by many doctors, and many AI knowledge-based expert system for diagnosis of disease has been developed at that time. I myself also worked during my MTech on the expert system. Unfortunately, we have to brought the data from Australia, because in India at that time it was very difficult to get data, because this expert system is based on data. Knowledge is what? The experience data. So experience data you have to pick up from the expert person, and then you will feed to the computer, and then computer, whenever a question be asked to you, to the computer person, then computer from the data will search, oh, his symptoms point out towards this problem, and immediately, and that doctor has suggested this, so he will say that this is a prescription for your disease. For example, you have the diabetes disease is very common among the people. Now diabetes are many types. So when an expert system in a company develop, the person will go and he will say that yes, my blood pressure is this much, my urine information are this much, my blood information are this much. Now tell me what type of diabetes disease I am suffering from and what is my prescription. Then the computer will immediately search in his knowledge based data, and immediately you are suffering from this type disease, and this is the prescription that you take, this is medicine, and that will be very useful for you. So this expert system prevails a lot, but again it fails, because if some new things comes, if some abnormality comes, because that abnormality was not there in this knowledge based data, hence it could not predict, or it may predict wrong results. So again this was an threat, again threat to the human beings, that it may give some wrong prescription if some abnormality which is not present in his database. However, this was a good period for the AI, artificial intelligence. In 1980 to 1988, the R1 became the first commercial expert system, and it was being used by some phone company for diagnosing failures of the telephonic service. So first of all, tested on the diagnosing of the telephone service, and then later on many medical expert systems were also being developed. So this era was from 1980 to 1988. Now from 1990, the real momentum to the AI started. Acceleration started. The reason was that the computer became cheap, faster, small, great memory, okay, and great increasing computational power. This all made it that now people started, that at that time people started working in the artificial intelligence, and many new techniques developed, like artificial neural network, fuzzy logic system, support vector machines, many search algorithms related to the AI also, like K-means algorithms and more and more. And it is applied to many applications. But till the end of the, and even at the beginning of the 21st century and at the 20th century, the research remained theoretical only. There were research papers were there, but not new devices were coming. The new devices start coming after 2010, that we will see in the application area, where the application has started and now it is really emerging and it is being considered as a future investment. As far as in 1990s, a computer chess program was being developed. Okay, the first journey begins in 1990 with the development of the computer chess program. It was being called as a Deep Blue, being developed by IBM, and a match was being played between the then champion Garry Kasparov versus Deep Blue in the month of February in 1996. Unfortunately, Kasparov was victorious. He won 2 match with draws, and 1 match was being lost by him. But the lost match has gave a hope to the scientists, to the researcher, and they have more programmed it. And in the month of the March of 1997, another match was being played between Kasparov versus Deeper Blue, and you will surprised to know that not only the first match, all the matches were won by the Deeper Blue against the Kasparov, and Kasparov was also surprised. And there starts enthusiasm, great hope that yes, machine can be made intelligent. There were 512 processors were there, and in fact it was being fed with 200 million chess positions per second. So many positions were being fed, and it was working with 200 million chess positions per seconds. So this was a very great era for the artificial intelligence. Now, from the timings, lot of things is going on. One more thing I want to highlight: artificial intelligence is interdisciplinary as well as interdisciplinary. Interdisciplinary, I have already cleared you that interdisciplinary means that artificial intelligence can be used by any stream. It can be by engineering people, it can be used by medical people, it can be used by art, it can be used by finance people, it can be used by management people, it can be used by commerce people also. And it is interdisciplinary to have AI techniques. Have to master many subjects. AI is not confined to itself, but it incorporates many subjects in it. And the very first subject is the philosophy. If you are a philosophy, if you are a very good philosopher in your test over philosophy, then you can develop a new algorithm regarding AI. You require the knowledge of statistics also. You require the knowledge of computer science also. You require the knowledge of psychology also, because many AI algorithms are based on human behavior. So you have to understand the psychology of the human in predicting out how men become intelligent through psychology. And therefore, you can implement an algorithm. Even some algorithm like particle swarm optimization, and they are based on the behavior of the animals. Some are based on the biological behavior, genetic algorithm. And the artificial neural network is based on the working of the brain. So a lot of subjects are being incorporated in his AI techniques. So I can say in short, it is interdisciplinary as well as interdisciplinary. Now, as far as the AI techniques are concerned, right from 1990s, lot of techniques have been developed. It depends upon application, the data you have to use it, you have to make a choice of it. So machine learning is one such, artificial neural network is there, expert system, which we have discussed briefly in the last slide. Then there is a fuzzy logic system is also there. What fuzzy do? That the fuzzy in fact spread the data. Spread the data, that is, it's increases boundary. So you get more insight into the data. The data is not crisp. Then support vector machine is also being an AI technique, which is for the non-linear system, particularly genetic algorithm and particles algorithms are being used optimization problem. And many scientists have hybrid models also, combining two systems, neural, artificial, and all this. So we will take one by one these techniques in the coming session. Fuzzy logic will be taken by Professor Nishchal Verma, then particle by Jagdishan Bansal, then we will have hands-on training through MATLAB also by some MATLAB expert person. I will be taking artificial neural network, and some search algorithms related to the machine learning will also be taken into account. So after going, so what we have done so far, given the definition of the artificial intelligence, we have segregated the words. Then we have said that artificial intelligence simply means to create intelligence among the machine. Then I have talked about the history. In the history, we have talked about the different ages, what has been done and what has been done till date. Various techniques are there. Now, next comes the what are the advantage of AI? Now, every system has advantage as well as disadvantage. Pros and cons are there everywhere. For every brighter side, there is a darker side only. But when there are more advantage in comparison to disadvantage, okay, then we will go for that system, and that's a system emerges also. For example, a time was there when in our homes fluorescent bulb was being used, but later on, after the invention of tube light, fluorescent bulb was criticized. And then after the invention of CFL bulbs, tube light is being criticized. And then after invention of LED, CFL bulbs are now being criticized. So in the coming years, I think so there may be some new technology for generating light, then LED will also be criticized. So however, at present, we will highlight the advantage of the AI. What are the advantages? The first advantage is the reduction in the human error. Now, to err is a human, this is a well-known phrase, okay, because it is the human only who commit the mistakes, and it is expected that from the mistake only he will learn. However, the computers which you are using, if they are programmed properly, they do not make mistakes. And if artificial intelligence is being incorporated in it, then there is no chances of making the decision wrong. They can have a very good, accurate decision. So this is the one of the advantage that making machine intelligent, there will be an enormous reduction in the human error, and the problem will be solved or resolved very accurately. And the best example of this is our weather forecasting. Everybody is using the smart app, smartphone. In this, everybody having a weather app is there. You will surprised to know that I'm also using a weather app. Most of the predictions, or 99.99 predictions, are true. Okay, so it will tell that at 1 o'clock it will be sunny, at 2 o'clock it will be partly sunny, at 3 o'clock you will be here. So how it is getting this? It is through its due to its machine learning only. In the machine learning, previous data have been fed up of so many years, and the present data is also being fed, and on that basis the machine predict out that what can be the situation 1 hour after, what can be after 2 hours, and what can be after 3 hours. So weather forecasting is one such example which is giving very accurate results nowadays because of this artificial intelligence. Another example I have highlighted is the load forecasting. Okay, this is being used in the electrical engineering. Previously, when there was no AI, the whole game depends upon the executive engineer of that generating plants to decide what should be the load of the city or of the state tomorrow. And how he used to predict it? He used to study the 10 years previous data. So you can see what a tedious work it was. Okay, he used to study the present weather condition, and he also used to study the previous 10 years data of that day. Okay, and then from that he used to predict that this can be the probable load of tomorrow, and accordingly he used to switch the generator, because switching all the generator, if you ask a layman, then he will say that switch on all the generators, so that will be a more costly and expensive and unscientific way. So you have to optimize the generator, that you have to switch only those generator according to your demand, and that is being predicted in the past by the executive engineers by looking into the previous data. But now the same problem has been resolved with the help of artificial intelligence. You provide all this data to a neural network, the neural network will be trained, and on that training basis it can predict out that what can be the next the load, and thus you can switch on the generator as per the requirement of the load. So the first advantage is the reduction in the error. Second advantage is it take risks instead of humans. Now there are many jobs or many events in the life where human fears to enter it. For example, a fire is there in a hotel or in a room or in an office or in a building. Then the fire brigade person will also hesitate in entering it. First of all, they will try to extinguish it and then they will enter in it. And suppose nuclear plant has exploded, then no one will go there because definitely he will die because of the radiation. So there is a great risk is associated in such work. However, the AI-based robot can do this very smartly. Okay, so previously robots were there, but now this is artificial intelligence based robot. They can take decision of your own. They are not only programmed, but they can take decision of your own. So they can help a lot in diffusing a bomb, in exploring the deepest part of the oceans, mining for coal and oil. And for all these disasters, the AI robots can do a lot and thus can take the of the human beings. There was a well-known event termed as a Chernobyl nuclear plant explosion in Ukraine in 1986. Crores of people died and no one went there because of the radiation hazards. So people start thinking at that time, had there been an AI robot, then this people would not have died. But this was the situation at that time. The third advantage of the artificial intelligence is that it is available 24 by 7. Now, human has a limitation. You work for 4, 6 or 7 or 8 hours and doctor advises you that you should have a sleep of at least 6 hours or 7 hours. Then you will also want a weekend to stay with your family, to enjoy your personal matters. So you can't work 24 by 7. But these AI devices, they can work 24 by 7 and thus can help the human beings. Even if you work 24 by 7, you will be not in a good psychological position. And even you work more, you will get bored also. But these AI-based devices, they never get bored. And they can resolve even the night problems in the night also. And many educational institutes in developed countries are using it also. Because sometimes the parents, when came to office and he has a query regarding his child admission, then there will be no office in the night. So he can immediately ask these AI-based call center people that, yes, how my child will get admission and all this. Then this can be act as a helping centers for many communication industry or for many service industry. So this is one such advantage. So 3 advantages we have covered so far. Helping in repetitive jobs. In fact, the only drawback of human being is that human can do the work more efficiently, but it go at bored for the tasks which are repetitive in nature. And therefore a lethargicness develops. Oh, we have to do again and again same things. And this reduces our efficiency also. However, these AI-based devices, they never get bored. Even your computer in the slave form never get bored. You just run a program 1,000 times, millions times, it will not get bored. Okay, the same thing is there. If you make such computer as an intelligent, then it will have no problem in doing the repetitive work. And the example is the banks. Now in the banks, many companies in the developed countries are using the AI-based system for verification of documents to get loan. Because while issuing loan, there are a lot of documents are to be verified and the banker or bank people get bored. So they are using the AI cognitive automation machines through which this verification is going on. Now, this is not one such example. There are many, for example, making payroll salary of the employees working in the office by the concerning clerk. He will get bored by applying same formula. So this work can be assigned to this AI-based machine who can efficiently do it. The next advantage is the digital assistants. Okay, so many websites are now using these digital assistants. Suppose a website is there which is selling some product, but in the night it is not available. It is similar to the call center, but here you will have a chatting. Okay, you can't call it, but you will have a chat. So these are known as chatbots. So many websites have put chatbot on their website so that during the off hours or off office hours, you can chat with the bot and he will reply it. And you're surprised to know that many chatbots are designed in such a way that human get confused whether it is a human or it is a AI based device. These are also being called as a voice bot by some sites, and they help the customers in satisfying their queries. So this is the fifth advantage of the artificial intelligence machine, that they will accelerate the process of the digital assistance even in the off hours. Now definitely faster decision. Okay, now sometimes what happens that the human is being attached with emotions also, and because of this emotions he could not make out the good decision. Okay, sometimes he became biased, sometimes because of love with particular he cannot take decision. Okay, sometimes due to humanity also he cannot take decision. But these AI machines, they are very straightforward. Okay, they have no empathy or apathy, sympathy or apathy with anybody. They will see that whether the person has committed mistake, they will punish. Whether the person has done a good thing, is efficient, he has done something nice, creative, they will reward him. Okay, so they can take the faster decision. They will not get confused, just as human get confused because of his social relationship, because of his emotion with the people. So sometimes he cannot make out the good decision. However, they can make good and fast decision both. Now, another advantage that these AI devices, they are not only industry based devices, they are not only helpful to the industry or to the large organization, they can be helpful in our daily application also. And you will surprised to know that most of the people are using it, but they are not understanding that this is an AI based application. In daily application, you are using, if you are using Apple phone, then Apple, there is Apple series there. Then Google OK is there. Okay, through Google OK, you need not have to ask any person. Okay, where is this location? The Google OK will say this location is this. This is the, you will go through this path. It will take this minute. This is the direction. So everything is available. There is another called Google Lens. Okay, what is this Google Lens? You can download it from the Play Store. That if you don't know any image, the name of anything, any object, you just have a picture of this, of that image. The Google will immediately give you the details about that object or the things. Suppose I bought 3 days back. Sorry, my wife has bought some artificial plants, some plants, indoor plants, not artificial, indoor plants. I asked her the name of that plant. She says, no, these are just indoor plants. I don't know them. I have just clicked their images and sent to the Google Lens. The Google Lens immediately, oh, these are the name of these plants are this, and they are available on Amazon, Flipkart, and many other online sites also. So this much of the information. So how they are doing? They are doing through artificial intelligence only. Now, another application of the AI which all you are using, but you may not be knowing, in the WhatsApp. Now, I am from a Hindi state. Okay, my official language is English and Hindi also, but we used to speak in Hindi. And it is very difficult to type in Hindi. But WhatsApp have made easy. In the WhatsApp, when you go on WhatsApp and you want to send a message in Hindi, the first option is that you type it. But typing Hindi is a very difficult task. So what do? You switch on your mic and make your language as a Hindi and just speak out the message. For example, Deepavali ki hardik shubhkamnaएं will get printed and then you can send it. So how it is being doing? In fact, on the server of the WhatsApp or the Facebook, the multi-layered artificial neural network is there. And in this neural network has been trained with so many fonts, so many voice messages, okay, that it able to recognize your voice and immediately print it. Now imagine that the say one word, Hindi word, for example, Shubkamna. Now this Shubkamna word will be spoken by different people in different tone, different intensity. A girl will speak with different intensity, with different tone. A boy will speak with different tone. Similarly, a North Indian will speak the same word in different tone, intensity, and frequency. A South Indian people will speak in a different tone. But this neural network has collected all the information. And so in whatever tone, intensity, or frequency you speak, it picked up, and 99.99% you will get the correct results. But provided you should have the internet with you, because these all data, these trained neural networks are stored at the Google server. They are not stored in your mobile. So if you don't have an internet, then you will not able to make out the result from this WhatsApp. So this is also an AI application. So I have given you the 3 applications. You will surprised to know that AI is around you. It is surrounding you, and but you may not be knowing. I don't know, but the probability this happens with many of them, that AI is with you, and we search in the industries or in the big corporate area that AI should be there, but AI is with you. Now there are chances that since human has a creativity, so there are chances that this AI is powering many inventions in almost every domain, which will help the humans to solve the majority of the complex problem. Now, one example is that recently doctor can predict breast cancer in the woman at the early stages using advanced AI-based technology. Now, I have listed out some inventions, some beautiful, some beautiful advantages of artificial intelligence, and that provoke us that why should not we go for artificial? We should go for artificial intelligence with such advantages. But as every bright side has a darker side, every coin has a tail as well as head. Okay, every prawns have some cones also. So artificial intelligence has some disadvantages. So we should go through that disadvantages also. But what are the disadvantages that brings darker version of the AIs? The first is the high cost of creation. So you all know that in our software you got updated, you update your software in your smartphone, you update your smartphone also as soon as some new version came, so new apps came or some new technology came, you change your smartphone. The same is happening with the AI also. AI is updating every day the hardware and the software, and these has to be updated in order to meet the latest requirements. Further, the machine to be used needs require repairing and maintenance, and all this makes a very high cost of creations. And this creations and updation requires huge cost, and therefore this is a very costly item at present. However, as it will spread into the masses, the cost may reduce, but at present AI devices are very costly. The second disadvantage is to we intelligent systems only. And what is that? It will make human lazy. AI is making human lazy with its application, automating the majority of the works. Humans tends to get addicted, and it may happen, it may forget its basic work. Okay, today we are so much habitual of checking the spelling with the internet that sometimes we forget the basic definition also. Okay, so this addiction is also very dangerous. Okay, we have to run in a balanced mode so that we remain active also, intelligent also, but do not too much depend upon these AI devices. Oh, the third point, the unemployment. Okay, this great debate is there globally that this AI will create unemployment. And the major reason is that it will be replacing the majority of the repetitive tasks and the other works. With robots, the human interference is becoming less and less, and which will cause a major problem in the employment. every organization is looking to replace the minimum qualified individuals with AI robots, which can do similar work with more efficiency. So unemployment is the major threat which is going to be developed by this artificial intelligence. Fourth at disadvantage, AI is associated with no emotions. On one side, with no emotions, it takes faster decisions. But on the other side, the machines work, but machines with no human can sometimes can harm a good person also. Sometimes people commit mistakes, but because of his previous records, we sometimes say that okay, don't worry, don't commit this mistake. But these AI based devices have no emotion. If you have committed a mistake, you will be punished. There will be no sympathy or no apathy towards you. Okay. So this is another drawback, that there will be no emotions being associated with these AI devices. Lacking out of box thinking. Now machines can perform only those tasks which they are designed or programmed to do. Anything out of that, they tend to crash or give irrelevant output, which could be a major drawback. Problem. And you all are Bollywood fans, and you might have seen the Chitti movie, and also those who are Hollywood fans, they might have seen the film Terminator. In the Chitti, the villain corrupts the program, and the Chitti became villain instead of the hero. Okay. The same recently in the newspaper, one report was being published that they have developed some AI robots, and the AI robots themselves develop a new language which they can understand, but the human cannot understand. So this is the major drawback, that they can crash the human system. In film Terminator also, the robots have developed their own army, and they instead of helping the human beings, they started destroying the humans. So this can be a great threat, that if we are too much dependent upon the AI devices, then they can form their own army, and there can be situation in the future, if not properly handled, that we can be under another lockdown period, okay, due to the bad behavior of these AI based robots. So we have to be very cautious in implementing this AI based devices. Now next topic will be the artificial intelligence application. So the time is over. I think it is 1 o'clock. So you all will be hungry. So I will not take much time. I will advise you to take good food with your family in this lockdown period. And I hope that you have enjoyed, you have got some insight of the artificial intelligence, what artificial intelligence is, what is the meaning, what is its history, what are the techniques which are being used at present in the AI, what are its advantage and what are its disadvantage. I will take the next slides in the next session, which is going to be started 2 o'clock, and in which I will take application and also another presentation on the fundamental of the machine learning. I hope that you have enjoyed this session. Okay. So thank you very much that you have enjoyed it. If anybody, just check the chat box, as anybody question is there. So thank you very much. Time has reported it was a nice session. Okay. So for the beginners and for the learners, for the newcomers, I hope that they have got some insight about what the AI is, and we will meet at 2 o'clock. Before this, have a good day, have a nice day, and enjoy your lunch. Thank you.